أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين صدق الله العظيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد Iyyaka na'budu, which means alone you, na'budu, we worship, wa iyyaka, in alone you, nasta'in, we ask for help. So we are going to explain the meaning of ibadat, worshipping of Almighty Allah, and we will explain the statement in the Aqwali Mufassirin, the definition of ibadat, ta'rif, definition of ibadat, and we will explain some point, we will present some thought that what is the correct time of the ibadat, the worshipping of Almighty Allah. So na'budu, which means in Arabic language, na'budu means nuwahhiduka wa nuti'uka khazi'in, which means na'budu nuwahhiduka, we unify you in the time of ibadat, wa nuti'uka, in we obey you in every step of our life, khazi'ina, in the condition of submission, we obey you, we unify you in the condition of submission, khazi'ina, submissively. And Imam Razi rahmatullah alayh, he has written in their Tafseer, which is known by the name of Tafseer Kabir, the definition of ibadat. He say that al-ibadah ibaratun an ta'zimillahi ta'ala wa idhar al-khudu'i lahu, which means ibadat, worshipping of Almighty Allah. Worship is glorifying of Almighty Allah, of God, of Almighty Allah, the master of the Yawm-ud-Din, day of judgment, wa idhar al-khudu'i lahu, and showing submission to Almighty Allah in the time of worship, in the time of ibadat. Like when we are pray to Almighty Allah, so in that time we are pray with the submission of Almighty Allah. And nasta'inu, the meaning of nasta'in in Arabic language, which is written many tafsir, natlubu minkal ma'una ala ibadatika, which means we ask your help, your ma'una, your help, ala ibadatika, on your ibadat, on your worship, to worship you with your ma'una, with your help. And what is the correct time of ibadat, worshipping of Almighty Allah? Worshipping is the name of a perfect obedience to Almighty Allah in every condition of your life, in your happiness, in your sadness. You have to worship of Almighty Allah, to ask help from Almighty Allah. And there is written in many books of Tafseer that the correct time of ibadat is the time of your youngness. When you are young, you have to worship of Almighty Allah on good manner, on good condition, because the youngness is the time of your energy, your power. So it need to spend your energy in the way of Almighty Allah, in the worship of Almighty Allah, and to spend your power, the power of your body, the power of your hand, the power of your think, and the power of your mind, to spend everything, your every energy in the way of Almighty Allah, in the worship of Almighty Allah, in the ibadat of Almighty Allah, which mentioned in the hadith of Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that on the day of judgment, Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala narrated that on the day of judgment seven kinds of people will be in the shadow of Almighty Allah. There will be no shadow except the shadow of Almighty Allah. Among those people, وَشَابٌ نَشَأَ فِي عِبَادَةِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى, there will be a young man who spent their life in the worship and the follow and the obey of Almighty Allah. Allah will give on the day of judgment a place in the shadow of Almighty Allah to a person. He spent their energy, their power, their youngness in the way and the worship of Almighty Allah.